decompression sickness is DCS Type 2, which is neurological. So any neurological symptoms after that quote-unquote 10-minute window from servicing from a dive. And let's look at the first one. Let's look at the brain and spinal cord. You can have spinal cord DCS. Let's zoom in. So the spinal cord takes sensory information and sends it to the brain, and the brain sends responses from the brain back down to the spinal cord to tell the rest of the body or tell a certain part of the body to do something. So right here, this is the spinal cord, and we took a cross-section of it. We cut it in half, and this is the inside of the spinal cord. You see all this white right here? That's called white matter, and this is called gray matter. And what white matter is, the white matter is made up of myelinated axons. So let me just break that down. This is an axon right here, and this is the myelin sheath. So this axon is covered by myelin, and you don't have to remember all this. What myelin does is it speeds up signals. So it can, if your brain says, hey, pick up that block over there, you'll go and do that faster than if you didn't have myelin. Myelin is that NOS in your car. And myelin's white. Myelin is white. That's why we see this is all white here. This white matter is made up of myelinated axons. And those myelinated axons are made up of fat tissue. So we just said that fat absorbs the inert gas of nitrogen faster, it doesn't release the nitrogen as fast because the blood flow to it is weak, right? The blood flow to the fat is weak, so therefore it's going to have a hard time off-gassing, which means obese people are at a higher risk for decompression sickness. So what can happen in DCS of the spinal cord is we have, on rapid decompression, we can have little nitrogen bubbles forming in our white matter, right there. If that happens, then we're going to have a roadblock. We're going to have a hard time transmitting information to different parts of the body, to and from the brain, because we have interruptions with that white matter. Basically, here's our myelin or axon, and I'm putting a bubble right there, right there. It's just interfering with my signal, which causes us to have the neurological deficits that we see in spinal cord DCS. The brain also has white matter, so the brain can also develop bubbles in the white matter of the brain. Now, it's important to state that the only evidence we have of what I just mentioned is that we only have evidence of 3 divers and 6 dogs. So scientists did tests on 6 dogs, pretty much gave them DCS, and they found bubbles in the white matter of the spinal cord and white matter of the brain. Here's one of the divers of the 3. The diver surfaced after a 130-foot dive for 240 minutes, 4 hours. So 130 for 4 hours, and he had a 20-minute ascent. So if you look at your tables, he skipped a lot of decompression, and it's not even on the table. It's way over exceptional exposure. and he died shortly after surfacing. Now let's look at the brain. Think of arteries. Arteries take blood away from the heart. Away from the heart. So we have blood going away from the heart and to the brain. A lot of the blood goes to the brain because it wants the oxygen. So if we have a bubble formation due to Henry's law, and it makes its way to the brain. Let's say the bubble stops right there. We have bubbles stopped right there. That's now an emboli. So it's going to be lodged in that vessel, and now I can't get oxygen past it. I have oxygen all here, all here. I have oxygen there, but I can't get oxygen here. So what's going to happen? If I don't get oxygen there, I'm going to cause tissue death, necrosis. So, ready? That all that brain tissue starts to die. Which will give us neurological symptoms.